What's up, guys? Mega Bleeder here with another episode of Dusty Hell. BC, if I can get out the door. I'm not very good at the inverted camera. Okay, I can't do it. I can't get out. I was trying. Since the last episode, I moved a couple of things around. I moved our machines up here so we're laid out a little bit better. I also put some black hole tanks in here so that we can let this stuff run for a long time. And I have another one here for LPG. So we've got a ton of LPG, a ton of liquid plastic. This guy is full. I did turn it off so it'll stop taking it out. We've got a decent amount of kerosene. This is just something that will back up, and we'll use kerosene eventually to make rocket fuel. And aside from that, I planned on today getting started in our ore processing. So I've got some item ducts here that are feeding all the way over this way, feeding it to these high ovens. So these are all, I think they're max temperature. I don't know, maybe it can get hotter if we use, that's going to be a problem. That just messed that up. Maybe it can get hotter if we use coal coke, I think can go in here. I don't remember. So I've got a whole entire line coming from over there feeding to this. So we've got a drawer of oak here, and then we've got retrievers pulling in the oak, and then we're just feeding these guys, feeding the furnace charcoal, and that's coming into here. And this is just like a completely passive setup. Each one of these has its own furnace. I don't have these hooked up to anything yet. We will pipe items in through this guy here and then pull our fluids out into these casting basins to be able to make blocks. I just have some chests sitting here right now. But so yeah, that's what we're going to do today, is get ore processing set up in a more concrete fashion. And I've got 12 different high ovens here because if we take a look at chunks, there are 12 different chunks. So what I'm going to do is move our sifters. I did go ahead and craft up basically everything we need for the Material Stoneworks factory. So we'll be able to make 3 of those. We've got 1 for dust, 1 for sand, and 1 for gravel. Take all of these guys. Say, give me 3 of those, 3 of those, and 3 of those. So now I just need to gather up some buckets of lava, some pink slime, and the pink slime, if you remember, we're using this method. So we can just put slime blocks in here and take out pink slime. So we're chilling on that front. Okay, before I spend too much time talking and just go on and on, let's just turn this area here into a proper ore processing area. Okay, so I think this is going to be it. I piped over some biofuel. That's feeding some biofuel generators. So let me, oh, hello. I don't think there's anything I need to light up over here. I'll have to check that out. Okay, so we've got storage over here. This is like our mass main storage area. I've got the generators because I need power to power these Material Stoneworks factories, which are fully upgraded. So those are pumping into these users that are max speed upgraded. So we've got dust, we've got sand, we've got gravel. I've also got 2 spots here for netherrack and endstone. You can see I'm kind of set up here for that. I'm still playing around with what I want that to look like. I'm probably going to have to do like the pulverizer. I'm not certain that I'm needing this just yet. So what I could easily do is just kind of put these underneath and it's going to pull out the end stone and pull out the netherrack. Or it's this way. So we can do that. So it's just going to kind of keep pumping lava into there. I don't know that lava production would be, actually, I'm certain it would not be fast enough. But in the future, we can replace all of this with pyrotheum, and that'll make it faster. And I also could stack these vertically without too much of an issue. I don't know if that's the best way to produce lava. I could go the magma crucible and let's see, we don't really have, it would have to be like stone or cobblestone. Probably cobblestone. So that could get us a bucket of lava, but it takes 300,000 RF. And the magma crucible runs pretty slowly. I suppose we could use, what is this? Greatly increases lava production speed. Only lava can be created. I wonder why it makes it faster. Does it make it like use more RF per tick? I don't know. But yeah, so this guy's running over here. We've got resources coming in. We've got 13 blocks of diamond, I guess. Not too bad. And the way that this is working, these are controller slaves, so I don't actually have to collect the resources, because if you put an inventory on top of the sieve, then they will automatically push to that inventory. So if we come over here and take a look at one of these, let's say like iron, we can see up there at the top, it's ticking and giving us like 1, 2, 3. Now I'll probably at some point go through and, did I just lose a mesh? Oh no, because it had stuff in it. So eventually I'll probably go through and enchant all these meshes. There's 43. There's, I don't know what number. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 times 3. So there's 45 meshes here. So I might take an extra mesh that I have and do a bunch of enchanting and get the books. I don't know that it's going to be necessary to do that. We take a look here. Can we see how much redstone we have? I don't think so. We can just see 10.7 thousand. But you can see it kind of ticking up there. We'll see that's, we just got 2, we just got 3. So, and then what I'm doing, I've got all of these high ovens here, and they've got retrievers pulling in the chunks. So each high oven has its own designated chunk. And then I've got those separated out. I put these little guys on here, but I don't think that I'm going to need them. But I've got the fluids coming out and going directly into a basin, so it's casting blocks. But I've also got it being pumped out over here into seared tanks with an alloy tank in between. And then I've got a seared heater here that's just running off of the charcoal that's made in this guy. I don't know why this isn't full. Should be. Maybe it's going to wait until there's 8. Room for 8. So once it gets to 56, then it'll tick on. So I've got this one here. This one's making Invar. This one over here. And I stack these up specifically. So I've got iron and nickel. And then over here, we've got gold and silver. So we've got silver there, gold there. And that's making electrum. And that's being pumped out, giving us plates, ingots, and gears. So that's pretty nice. Yeah, all these have like 57, I guess. Then over here I've got bronze, and I've got copper gears. I need to put another hopper there. And I'm just piping them down into a hopper so that I don't fill up this chest with some of the other gears. And then all I've got to do is take like aluminum, platinum, all of this tin, and then I can just dump it into my system. And we've got tons and tons of resources. So that I would have to say is probably ore processing finished. I do have 3 more guys here because we still need ardite, cobalt, and yellorium. It'll be a while before we get these set up, but we're not going to need yellorium for a while. And then the cobalt and ardite, these come from netherrack. So once I get endstone and netherrack set up, which what I might just end up doing for the time being, because I don't know that we need like ardite a lot. Do we need manulin for anything? If we melt it down, let's see. There's no, like, there's an ingot, but there's like nothing that it gets used for. And the block doesn't get used for anything. It can be used as a beacon, and it can be used as conductors. Like, I think for the turbine, it can be used as in a turbine coil as like an inductor. And the reactor, I think it can be used for coolant. We could make a shulker. We make manulin. And I think there's something that you need shulkers for. Cobalt. Apparently for some AE2 stuff. Okay. But is that just any ingot? Oh, it can be used as a dye? Really? That seems strange. Any blue dye other than lapis? Lapis isn't showing up here. That's interesting. So we'll automate those at some point. And let's see. I think that's about it over there. Yeah. So I think next what I'll probably want to do is just clear out this entire inventory. We'll keep the key, and then the rest of this can just get dumped into one of these crates. Like so. Yeah. That's not too bad. Did I have another upgrade right here? Let's go fill up our food. And basically just all I've got to do is come over here sometimes. I need to get power over here somehow. I'm thinking I'm going to rebuild the mob farm. But like all I got to do is take this guy, drop it in my inventory. And then that feeds up this meat feeder. Looks like we're almost out of water too. So I think what we'll probably work on now is this Ad Astra quest line and see about getting to the moon. So I'm going to do some digging in figuring out what that looks like. And then I will come back and let you know what I found. Okay, so I was looking at the quest book. And what I think I'm going to do is push my way through here. So we've got the energetic infuser. We've got oxygen collector and compressor. We're getting ready to go to space, so those are going to be important. Fuel loader. I also have to make fuel. So we're going to need kerosene. And it looks like one of the better options would be, I think, kerosene and plutonium. Well, I guess cyanite. Because here, if I just do kerosene and yellorium, it's, we get a loss. But cyanite, we can just pulverize cyanite dust. We can just pulverize cyanite, which this is a byproduct from a reactor, or we can just mix yellorium and sand. So it's yellorium and sand, which just makes it cheaper than this. So I don't know why you would necessarily go this route unless you have yellorium completely passive through endstone, which is certainly an option. I don't know why this is checked. I think it's because I had a bucket of something else. So we're going to go through this route here, but while I was looking around through the quest book, I was looking around my base, and I decided to do a little bit of work. I was actually looking at slabs, and in slabs, I saw these dried slabs, and I was like, wait a minute, those look pretty decent. So I was curious how they would look in the base, so I made some. and I went through and did a little bit of decorating on the base here. So I ran these dried clay slabs throughout the base, and it's definitely not done. I kind of just got into it and started placing down blocks and was like, okay, I like this and I like this, and we've got these seared brick slabs as well. And then if we follow our path over here, I did replace all of this, so we have like a little factory floor now, and this circles all the way around. I designed these up a little bit better. I think they look kind of neat. Over here is where we have our dried clay automation. That comes all the way kind of back around this corner, and it starts right over here with these chests. So I've got a chest here exporting clay. I've got a chest here that's got a retriever bringing in dried clay. So now we've got tons and tons of dried clay. I also went ahead and crafted up the mob crusher. This guy here. And that's going to get us essence. It's currently turned off. I'm not sure what all comes out of here that would be valuable, that would be more valuable than what we get from diamond spikes. So I'm not sure if there's a reason to have spikes and the crusher, but we've got that now. So I think what I'm going to do... Oh, and the last thing, because I was looking at what we needed to actually go into space, the other thing that I did was crafted up some constantan. So I moved our smelter over here and made it a little bit taller, piped it up with lava. That way it's ready to rock, always full of lava. And I threw some, as constantan is, if we take a look here, it's copper and nickel. And honestly, I'm not certain that we're going to need a lot of it. If we do end up needing a lot of it, what I'm going to do, because we've got nickel here, and we've got copper here, what I'll do is actually move our copper and tin high ovens, and I'll swap them with our gold and silver. That way I can put constantan right here. But we need constantan plates, aluminum plates, and tin plates for a lot of these. So we need tin plates for that. This guy needs steel plates. We need tin plates here. There's more tin plates here. Oxygen fan, that doesn't need any. This guy needs aluminum. And then for the heavy duty plates, we need Invar, bronze, and then the constantan here. So later on, signalum, lumium, and enderium. But if we look at what the rocket is actually needing, so we need a bunch of those. We need a bunch of the heavy duty plates. So we need 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 15, 16, 31. We're going to need some fluxed electrum, which is totally fine. So yeah, we needed a bunch of plates, so I got those crafted up. I ran some netherrack and some endstone through the pulverizer and threw those in our users here. And as a result of that, we did get a little bit of unilorium, ardite, and cobalt. I'm not certain if I'm going to automate this. If I do, what I'll likely do is pipe redstone and glowstone over here. And there's also, if we take a look at this, we need to pipe skystone into lava barrels to make skystone, which then we will also pulverize, or we'll have to hammer it, actually. We'll have to hammer it. And then this will get sieved into Certus. So we'll have to go that route at some point. So this is probably going to change. But if we take a look, we come here around the corner. I'm not really decided on these stairs. There aren't a bunch of stair options in the pack. So I don't know how I feel about these. I mean, there's more dried brick stairs, but I kind of like, I don't know, I kind of like these. I don't know, we'll see. Maybe I'll use more of these reinforced frames for decoration. But what I might do is put endstone and glowstone production and crushing and skystone production and crushing up here. Then pipe that down there. I don't know. Honestly, I'm not really certain the route I'm going to go with that. Might run that down this way and move these around, and I'm not certain. I am not certain. But what I am going to do, what I am certain of, is I'm going to get these Galacticraft machines and this energetic infuser crafted up, and I'm going to put them over here. I'm actually going to change this layout because I want the machines... I want this to be an open platform where we like walk in here and there's machines this way. I don't really like how this turned out. I don't want them on the outside like this. I want this to look like a little workshop floor. So I'm going to get that done and I'll be right back. Okay, so we've got oxygen collector, an oxygen compressor here, and we've got a tank from that, and I moved our stuff over this way. I did change our layout of this, and we've got our electric compressor, and I should be able to pop these in here, and I'll let this sit and run. Yeah, so we'll get 2 stacks of that, which will be nice. And I also want to check out this location here. So at negative, at X, I think, well, let's see. Is it, which way is it? Negative X plus, okay. So yeah, this is negative X 1000. So I set a waypoint there. So what I'm going to do now is work on flying out this direction, and I'll be back once we've made this 2,500 meter trip. Oh, I also went ahead and recrafted my armor and put unbreaking on it just because it was getting pretty beat up over time, and my helmet actually broke, which disabled the air conditioning mechanic. But yeah, so I went ahead and fixed up our armor in that way. I do have ending over here bookmarked. Eventually we'll get to that. I do have enough wither skulls. We just don't quite have the resources to make that happen just yet. Oh, here we are. That kind of just popped out of nowhere. This says 700. Is this the structure that we're looking for here? Oh, it's got blazes. That's not great. Okay. So we've got some solar panels. So this is nice. I don't know how much power we get from these. Look at this. This is a nice little facility here, right? Be nice if there was some power cables as well. These light gray concrete. I like that. Light gray concrete some more. The problem is going to be that I don't have a bow to deal with these blazes. But what I could do is lure these guys out here. Come on, bud. Should have brought like a shield. Hoping I don't have to deal with any blazes. I was looking at using these stairs because we didn't have a lot of stair options. Zombie pigmen. Ooh, look at this. I didn't need those. These oxygen collectors will be nice. We can use these on the moon. Oop, let me take that back. Let's see. More collectors. Where's this blaze? Ooh. He's mean. Oh, they can do a ton of damage. Okay. Ooh. Wildfire. This is not good. Run away. Tactical retreat. Tactical retreat. All right. So let's hide behind this little oil pump. Oh, no, it's not an oil pump. Look at this. It's Tesla. They're launching. What's this? Is hollow? This is hollow. Or it's not hollow. It's solid. Easter eggs in here? No? Nope, just vandalizing. Okay, so I need to go in there and break those spawners. So I think what I might try and do... Oh! Are there blazes over here? Or is that just what I'm hearing from, like, way far off? That's what I'm hearing way far off. Let's see if we can make our way... Oh, that's a ghast? Interesting. Can we make this jump? Nope. That's not great. Okay, so... Tiny little blaze. So he's chilling there. We do have ghast here, so I'm not worried about getting that guy. But what that leads me to believe is there's another spawner up there. Ooh, if I had snowballs. If I had snowballs, that would have made this an easier problem to deal with. If we do this... I was trying to get it block placed down. There we go. Ooh! Okay. That's a problem. What the hell is that? Okay, we're gonna try and return to sender this guy. Suck it. There you go. Oh my goodness, there's a basement under here too? No way. Let's break this. Blaze can shoot this zombie. Yep, there you go. There you go. Deal with that. Jeez. Oh, look at that. Nice. Okay, okay. This is some good gear. This is certainly helpful. I was not planning on this being so intense like this. Oh, there's spawners up there. Okay. Okay. So let's try and get up there one more time. Can we... Sounds... Hostile creatures are already pretty low. Let's turn it down even more. Okay. Let's see if we can get up here. Okay, get ready, get ready, get ready. Break the spawner. Break the spawner. Got it, got it, got it. Oh, okay. Okay, okay. Come down here. Let's just grab this, because we know we want this. Let's deal with these. One more spawner, maybe? Why are you mad at me? Why are you mad at me, bud? I didn't do anything to you. Do nothing to you. Let's do this. Psych. Break that one. Break that one. Break that one. Check this chest. Get out of here. Tactical retreat. Is there a basement there? That's what I'm curious about. I should have done this at nighttime. That probably would have made more sense, since there would have been more stuff spawned around, and maybe it would have taken up some of the mob cap. This dude's angry at me, and I can't, like, deal with that. Is there a staircase? No? Okay. Ooh, concrete makes you run fast. Look at that. Okay, so let's do this. Grab ourselves some blocks. Let's climb this tower. Break that spawner. All right. Okay, now I feel like the marker was over there, and I feel like I placed it at the right spot. So I'm gonna fly over there and see what's over there. Okay, so I'm out here, and I didn't find anything. So I'm guessing that the structure that we found there was the correct structure. So I'm gonna head back home, and which is this way. And I will see you when I get there. Okay, so we're coming back home. And let's take a look at our little haul here. So, I saw a spider over there, just a cow. So we got some spawners. I have a crate that has some spawners in it. I thought I did. Let's pop those in there. Don't need that. Honestly, I could just dump it all and it'll get sorted into places if it needs to be. Okay, so these are the valuable things that we got, including the NASA workbench, which I don't believe takes any power. Does it block light? Does not block light. Okay, so this is where we build our rocket from. So, not rocket. Rocket. Boom. Tier 1 rocket. And apparently there are cargo versions of it. Standard one here is what we'll probably end up going with, but we need a bunch of these heavy-duty plates. So that's why I put a bunch of those into craft. I think the only thing that we would need would be this fluxed electrum, but I did take some electrum and drop it in. I thought. I could have sworn that I put... Oh, here it is, apparently. Look at that. So it got pulled out of here, and instead of going to this small storage crate, it went into the energetic infuser. Nice. So let's set that to extract. We'll take those out. That's a quest. And then, let's see. So we got this guy. So we got some red heart canisters, which is nice because we can take that. And if I shift right click, pop that in there. So we get some extra hearts. Nice. You can see we did take a little bit of damage to our armor there in that fight. So each level of unbreaking reduces damage by like 10%, or you have a 10% chance to not take damage. So these solar panels are nice. We got oxygen compressor, the decompressor. I don't know what we would need that for. The oxygen collector. This would be really good for a space station. So when we go up into space, when we go onto the moon, stuff like that, we can put an oxygen collector down and surround it with leaves, and that'll pull oxygen out. And we can actually, at Electrocraft, there is, yeah, this bubble distributor. So we can pump oxygen into this, and it will create a spherical bubble that you can breathe in. Sealer, check for an enclosed space. It'll fill it with breathable air so we can build a space station. That'll be nice. And we got oxygen tanks, so that's also a good deal because we can pop these in here and fill those up. Suppose I can store those in there. Machine frames are nice, and these reinforced kits, these are real nice because we can't make these yet, but we do have 7 of them, which is pretty sick, honestly. And let's see, I don't know. Let's see, probably these, and I would say the energetic infuser are probably must-haves for them to be faster. We are producing enough power. So, if we take a look over here, oh, I didn't take the Electrum Blend. Okay, there we go. That's going to unlock that quest, which means if we hold these, that unlocks that one. And it gives us more Electrum Blend. We can just dump in there. And then our heavy-duty plates. So we can just pop those out of there. It's another quest. And then we need to hold this, apparently. This is such a weird thing. Like, should this be in the floor? I feel like this should be in the... Does it fit? It does. Yeah, and this is clearly the front of it. That's so weird. Yeah, that's so weird. All right, this is like the front of it pretty clearly. Nice. Okay. I've never actually set it in the floor like that. If we take a look at our quest, we got that. We got more machine frames. So this guy is giving us bitumen. I don't think that's relevant. Oxygen gear, we can craft those. The fuel loader, I've got that there. And I'm going to craft up those things. So let's see. The oxygen gear should be able to knock out one of these. I'm going to need some... Ooh, these take the advanced pressure tubes. I'm not sure that I have enough to be able to make that. Ooh, looks like I might. Actually, let's take this. Let's get our canister. Let's get our fluid pipes, because I don't know if you know this, but gases are actually fluids. Then we'll craft this guy. Sweet. We also need an oxygen mask, which will be an iron helmet and some glass. So we've got our concentrator. We'll take our helmet. Oxygen mask. Bam. Bam. That, we need oxygen here. We can do this. Sweet. And these should go in this. Yeah. And then I can also put one of these oxygen tanks, or both of them actually, in here. There we go. Sweet. Got a decent amount of frames from all that. And another oxygen tank. So we'll be able to fill up all those and have plenty of spare oxygen once we get into, or I guess out of the atmosphere. The fuel loader should be pretty simple as well. Let's clear that. Get another canister. And do we have copper plates? We don't have copper plates. So let's get copper plates, which should be right here. I did go through and replace the wooden hoppers with normal hoppers. Those are... Do I not have copper plates? I guess I don't have copper plates. Do I need a lot of copper plates? Telemetry unit. This gathers useful data from linked rockets, players, and mobs. Best place near a display screen. Transforms water into hydrogen, useful for methane synthesization. Oxygen. I don't know that I need a lot of copper plates. So I think what I'll just do is throw some copper into our compactor. Let's throw like a stack in there. And then that'll knock us out some plates. Yeah. And what else? That gets us the fuel loader, which will take us to rocket logistics and the launch pad. And I think I have what I need to be able to craft that. Iron plates. Yeah, sure enough. Boom, a rocket launch pad. Now the question is, where are we putting our rocket launch pad? We're going to need power. I feel like this would be a decent area right here for a launch pad. If there wasn't a fuel line coming through right smack down the middle here, this might be a decent spot. Is it an odd number? It's an even number, so that doesn't work. Is this odd? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Ugh. How did I manage to do all this? If I put this here... how do we feel about that? Don't know that I feel good about it. We also need to process fuel to be able to get that. So we're going to need an alchemical imbuer. So maybe it makes more sense to put this over here with power, near power. There's a small section here, and we need rocket fuel. Kerosene. So maybe actually over here makes more sense, because we've got kerosene right there. And then grab some hardened clay slabs. Did that mess up any of our lighting over here? Nope, everything still looks good. Okay, so I've got copper plates so we can get our fuel loader. What are we missing here? Got that. We got tin. We've got copper. We've got our canister. What's the problem? Put those there. Put that there. Put that there. And oh, I've only got 3 plates. Where'd the other plates go? What happened? I feel like when I'm trying to type in here, it doesn't... Did those items... Oh, no, they're right there. I was going to say, did those items get deleted? There we go. Boom. Fuel loader. This guy's going to need power as well. So maybe it makes sense to do our fuel logistics back here. And if we do a fuel loader, we're going to have power come in there. We've got the launch pad. Need a rocket. So let's check that in a pre-launch checklist. Canvas. Okay. That's easy enough. And then what? Lunar living conditions. Gotcha. Okay, so I'm going to craft up... I don't need these, but I'm going to craft up the rocket. Which... Oh, I just pushed a button. There we go. I think I just hit full screen. Yeah, that's weird. Okay, so... Those are good. I meant to hit backspace, and I pushed like F12 or something. Okay, so I'm going to craft up the rocket. Okay, I think this should be the last piece. Boom, we get our rocket engine. And we should just be able to come in here and do this. Bam. Tier 1 rocket. Let's grab some chests. right? So we can add extra storage to that. And go bam, 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 and 3 chests. So it's got 54 storage spaces. I'm really glad this one counted for the quest. Look at it. Nice. So we can pop that down on there. And if we right click, let's see. We shift right click. There's a way to, what does this say here? Launch, left, right, up, down. We don't want anything to do with that. We can press F to open our inventory. So if we click it and do that, yeah, look at that. Boom. Huge inventory. Nice. Now we need fuel. So we've got to pump fuel into the fuel loader. It currently has power. We just need to get fuel to be pumped into that. I did get the checklist. This kind of tells you what you need. So if we're going to the overworld, we need to make sure that we have our parachute, which I did go ahead and craft. It was super simple. The canvas, which we needed to make the checklist. I don't know that the flag is worth anything. Steel pole. Yeah, we won't go that route. Ooh, we do get a cake. Nice. Floor cake? Sweet. Lunar exploratory madness. The moon also houses dungeons of various dangerous mobs, and you, of course, will jump straight into it. Fantastic. Sync is proven to be a bit inconsistent when dealing with other dimensions. If you die in a different dimension, Moon or Mars, and you did in fact have a sync shell ready for you, and if for some reason you don't teleport back to it, feel free to enable cheats and go back to survival mode. Gotcha. Yeah, I feel like we just need to go to the moon now. And then we'll also get meteoric iron, which has some dependencies. Hello, I'm a meteor. I fell on the moon. And I'll be your source of meteoric iron until you get a better method. Okay. Meteoric iron is a resource found in those weird rocks on the moon surface. They present unique properties compared to their mundane and compressed counterparts. One of such properties being it can be crafted into stuff the other types of iron cannot. It is a purely arbitrary decision of the pack maker. You can automate meteoric iron production once you reach the red planet. Fantastic. Okay. So I am going to get fuel set up. So we need an alchemical imbuer. And then we're also going to need more yellorium. I did run more of that through our system here, but we've only got 7 chunks, so that is not great. If we put that into a high oven, we'll get 2 ingots. Is that... pulverizer. We'll pulverize it. And then if we pulverize it, we can cook it into an ingot, and then that ingot we can turn into cyanite, which we can then pulverize, we can then put into here, and we can get fuel. So we can get like 21. We can get almost a stack of... we can get almost 64 buckets, I think, from this. So I'm going to let this process up, and I'm going to make the alchemical imbuer, and we'll be back. Okay, so I've got our cyanite. Now I should just be able to pop that right in there. I routed kerosene over from our tank here. So it's routed up into this processing plant, and then it wraps around. And this guy is going to slowly... Do I want to put an upgrade kit in it? I don't think that I care too much because it's going to be pretty passive. And it should automatically get ejected out of here. How long does this take? 20,000 RF at 20 RF per tick. So 1,000 ticks, is that right? And that should tick over any second and then give us a bucket, which will get pumped out and into the fuel loader. And boom, we're 12% full. We're filling up. Filling up with fuel. Fantastic. So I'm going to let this fill up, and I think we're feeling pretty good, honestly. All right, so I think that's actually going to call it for today's episode. What I'm going to do between the episodes is build a little base. I think I'm going to use the factory blocks, and then I'll copy it, and then I'll break the base down so that when I go up to the moon, I'll be able to just paste a little base down, and then we'll have solar panels to power our oxygen things, and then we'll have a little base camp up there. But that'll be pretty sweet. Let me know in the comments if there's anything that I should be worried about in Galacticraft going to these first planets, and let me know what you feel about the base so far here. Is there something that is standing out that needs to be fixed other than these loud animals? We don't have the sound muffler mod. Yeah, what do you think of the base? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for stopping in.